That's how I found my boyfriend. That doesn't mean she's a bad friend. Push yourself. Get the homework done before they're due. Even if you think you're not going to deal with fake people, you still will. Ask for an extension. First impressions matter. Dress nice. These don't have to be your BFFs. There's not much stuff that works, so I'm going to tell you guys exactly my routine. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Amelie Santini and welcome to this video. So I went on Instagram and on YouTube and I asked you guys what you wanted me to talk about, to give advice, and also specific questions that you guys had about high school, and you guys gave me a lot of questions. So let's try to fit as much as we can in this video. Think of this as kind of like a FaceTime call. We're just chilling and preparing for the new school year. So sit back, relax, get some snacks, and let's talk high school. So the first question somebody asked is how to make friends going into a new school. So first impressions matter. Don't show up on that first couple of weeks being like lazy. Like, dress nice, make sure that you look good so that like people's first impressions of you are like, wow, like she's like really pretty, instead of not even noticing you. I feel like also if you're dressing up nice, you feel good about yourself, and people can tell confidence. People can tell when you're confident in yourself, when you're confident in what you're doing. So dressing in an outfit that makes you feel like you is gonna help people think, okay, like she's confident, like she knows what she's doing, I want to be friends with her. And give people like a chance. So when you're in classes and you're like getting to know the new people in your class, talk to as many people as you can, and don't make decisions really quickly. Give it like a couple of weeks until you kind of like thin out who you really want to be friends with. Sit with different people at lunch, because you don't want to give only 2 girls your time and then it turns out that those 2 girls are like super fake, and then you didn't talk to anybody else, and now people associate you as fake because you only talked to those 2 girls. By talking to like everybody, you have the opportunity that like everybody's getting to know you and you're getting to know everybody as well. And that kind of goes with like my next thing. Don't put all your eggs in one basket is like the saying. Don't only put energy into one person or 2 people, or even like just a friend group. When you're getting to know like a whole new school, you are not gonna find out everybody that you want to be friends with on that first week. So don't have that mindset. Be open to as many people, and also talk to more people. Sometimes when you first join a high school, people are gonna try to like keep you to themselves. They're trying to be like, oh, like only sit with us, like don't sit with other people, like hey, come hang out with us. And you should be like, oh my god, you guys are so fun, but they actually invited me to do something else. First, that makes you look like you are liked by everybody, which you are because you're super confident. Letting them know that like you're not desperate, like you have options, like you're choosing to like eat with them. And 2, that gives you the chance to see if anybody's like fake or has like bad energy, and choose the people that are actually gonna make you the happiest. Next, initiate hangouts. So like when you're meeting new people, sometimes they're not planners, and that can make you feel like, oh, they don't want to hang out with me. But maybe it's not that. Maybe it's just that they don't like planning, or they don't even think about planning. So reach out to people. Reach out if they want to go watch a movie, or they want to get like boba or something. You might find out that like maybe they were like too nervous to ask you because they thought you wouldn't want to go. By taking that first step, you're taking control of the friendships that you're making. Next question, also friendship based. What to do when you have no friends in a class? The reality is that this is what happens 90% of the time. Going into my 4th year of high school, the schedules literally came out yesterday and I have no classes with my friends, which honestly that sucks, especially as this is like my last year with them. But this can also be a blessing in disguise, because sometimes you become too closed off with your friend group, and in a situation in which they're not at school or they're all sick, you have nobody to hang out with. So take these classes as an opportunity to make new friends. Go into a class that mindset of being extroverted and talking to people, start up conversations, asking them, oh, like what you think about the summer reading, right? Or do you think the first test is gonna be hard? And try to start conversations with as many people as possible. By talking to people and getting to know them, you can help form friendships a little bit in that class. And then when the teacher's like, oh, group project, you already know 2 people that would want to be in a group with you. These don't have to be your BFFs, more like colleagues, you know, people that you can talk to in class, people that if you see at like a field trip, you can say hi to them and you can hang out with them occasionally, but you're not gonna go to their house and hang out. Having like a bunch of colleagues is great because you can talk to these people the next year if they have a class with you. Like, they're familiar faces that like you're on good terms with, you know, and that's really valuable. There might be some times though that there is nobody in that class. There's nobody that you really vibe with. Everybody's already friends with everybody else. You're kind of just like a little bit of a loner in that class, and that's okay. That happens to me like every year, at least in one class. Take that as an opportunity to focus in class. You're there to learn. You can socialize with your own friends later at lunch and after school. You have friends. It's just this one class. You're gonna be fine. And lastly, the last advice I have is to also be careful when making those friendships, because sometimes people are distracted. When you're excited to make new friends, you might become friends with someone that doesn't care about the class or is only interested in gossiping with you, and that can lead you the wrong path in that class. This happened to me sophomore year. I became friends with this one girl in this one class. I was having a really hard time making friends, so I was like super excited that this girl wanted to be friends with me, but all she would do was talk to me during the class, and like I felt bad telling her that like we needed to focus because I wanted her to be my friend. But in the end, my teacher ended up associating like her and me as like the talkative people and the people that didn't care about the class, even though I wanted to focus and I wanted to tell her like, hey, like we should focus. It took my teacher being like upset at me for me to be like, okay, even though she's sweet and all, I can't be friends with her in this class. We can talk later, we can talk during break, we can talk walking to this class, but not in this class because I need to focus. And at this point, she's just ruining my reputation with the teacher, so I need to put me first. And then I started seating like separately from her because I needed to focus and I needed that teacher to know I wanted to pay attention in that class, because or else who was gonna get the bad grade? Who was gonna get the less points? Me. Next question, how to take notes in class, methods, supplies, etc. So I actually have a whole video on how to take notes for AP classes. I actually love that video because in that video I go into depth of exactly like which notebooks and which materials. So I'll put that in the right hand corner so you guys can watch that. But I'll give you guys a little bit of tips in this video as well. I'm trying different note methods, different materials, different notebooks to see what kind of works best. And a really good advice that I have, which has changed the way that I take notes, is when you're done learning about a chapter, redo the most important notes of like each little lesson in the chapter, creating like a chapter outline. This helps organize your brain for you to understand like how things connect in the whole chapter. And also it's like a quick study guide when studying and later when you're looking at AP tests. So that's actually going to be the next question that we talk about, which is how to organize papers, notes, homework, so it's easy to study later during AP exam time. When you create this outline, which it's simple, but it just takes a little bit of time, it helps you study in the moment, but also when you're studying for the AP exam later, you can look at the outline for each chapter. It's a super easy way for you to like reteach yourself what you learned. I recommend you guys doing this in a separate notebook. So you bring a notebook to school to take notes in, and then your other one is just a review of everything that you did with the outline. And I recommend you also doing like after you take a test, or maybe before you take a test, in the same like chapter outline that you did, you can make a page of what you're struggling with and what has been the hardest part of that unit, because that can help you know what to pay attention to. And also when you're studying for the AP exam, so you know like, okay, I should focus more on these subjects because they gave me a hard time at first, so they're gonna give me a hard time again. And also something that I've talked about is that I have this binder that I keep at home, and every time that a teacher gives me like a chapter review or something to like study for the test, I put it in that binder, and that way I don't lose it, so I can keep it organized in the correct order of the units, and I can keep coming back to it. Like I know I won't get lost. Next question, extracurriculars, what do colleges look for? Okay, so I'm not a college admission, you know, like obviously I don't know what they look for, but I do have some advice of things that I wish I would have done from the beginning of high school. Now that I'm at a point where I'm applying for colleges and I have to like list out what I've done and like the experiences I've had. The first one is to be a well-rounded student. When you start high school being completely open-minded, you join a bunch of different clubs, you can kind of like solely focus on the things that you enjoy the most. So let's say you join like 5 clubs freshman year. By junior or senior year, you have a bunch of options to become president of one of those clubs. Whereas if you had only joined one and then you end up maybe not liking it as much, maybe there's someone that's better at it than you might not become leadership in that club and you don't have any other options, you know? So being open, 1, lets you find out what you really like, and 2, gives you options for leadership roles, stuff like that. And also be dedicated to what you enjoy. Like if you enjoy filmmaking, for example, do different things. Don't just be in the film club and then that's it and consider it done. Become a part of different programs outside of school. Do things on your own. There's not much you can know freshman year. I didn't even know I wanted to do a filmmaking major freshman year, so it's kind of hard to talk about in hindsight because that's what I would have done with the information that I know now. Don't beat yourself up about it if you haven't started doing all these things freshman year. You already have so much pressure to only be focused in college since like middle school, I feel like. So take things slow, just put yourself out there in new experiences so you can find out more about yourself. What to do when you feel unproductive but have a test the next day? Okay, so this is actually gonna be a really simple answer because there's not much stuff that works, so I'm going to tell you guys exactly my routine. If I'm ever like at home trying to study and I don't feel like it, I can't get anything done, I go take a walk for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe even 20 minutes if I have the time. I listen to like music or a podcast. I feel like sometimes music is better. Then I get home, I take a shower. Showers are what fixes things for me. It helps me feel clean. It helps me feel like reset, you know? I change. So a lot of times when I feel unproductive, I'm like still in my uniform. I don't change into like my pajamas because that's gonna put me in the mindset of sleep time. I change into like a comfy outfit. Then I put my hair in a ponytail and I do like a Pomodoro timer. So Pomodoro timers are things that I started doing recently. It's basically like a 25-minute timer and then a 5-minute break. It's such a short time, but you can be surprised by how the short time helps you get things done because you're like, there's only 10 minutes left, there's only 5 minutes left. So that helps you change your mindset. Sometimes when you're feeling unproductive, that might not help. Sometimes you kind of just have to push for it. But 9 out of 10 times for me, this routine helps. This is something that I have tried for a lot of time and that I've honed into what works for me. Each person is different. Maybe taking a walk might help, but showering won't. So you also have to try it and see what works for you as well. How to balance school, work, studying, exercising, social life, and friends. This is one of the biggest questions that I think every person in high school struggles with. The tip I have for that is to be organized. If you're organized of when things are due and when you should do your homework, you can do all your work the week and kind of leave your weekend empty. Realistically, you're still gonna have some stuff to do over the weekend, but that way you know that you can hang out with your friends this day for this amount of time and you're still keeping school as a priority. School is your number one importance. Like, you cannot be not doing homework because your friend wants to go watch a movie. Simple hangouts can be moved and you can communicate with your friends. Once you finish your homework and everything you need to study, you can hang out. You can go to parties. You can hang out with your friends. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you have your priority school done. And the last tip I have for this question is to set time blocks for each thing you need to do and put boundaries to let that happen. If you need to study for a test that's in 3 days and a club is asking you to like help out, you can say, hey, I really wish I could, but I can't, I need to study. Like, sometimes blame it on your parents. Be like, I'm so sorry, my parents are making me study for this exam, I can't hang out. This can help more if like it's a school thing, but you need to set your priorities. Like, everybody wants you, you know? Your friends want you, your sport wants you, your clubs want you, your classes want you, but you need to focus on what's your priority, which is school, and set those boundaries. She's back, guys, she's back. Next question, how to get good habits and how to be productive and stick to routines. From my experience, it takes time. The more that you stick to something, the more easy it's going to become to follow it. But also, if something's not working, there's probably a reason and you should probably try something else. So like, I had this wild idea to go to the gym before school without taking into consideration that I'm not a morning person. I can't wake up at 5 a.m. you know? So I was pushing myself to do that and then I wasn't able to do it because I couldn't wake up. But then I was able to turn it, okay, like I'll go to gym right after school and I'll get my stuff done and then I'll stay up a little later, and that worked. Being able to move things around to things that fit for you is the only way that you're gonna be able to make that work. The next question is how to find the right guy. Treat finding a boyfriend or finding like someone to date as how you're making friends, right? So it's kind of like the same thing. Put yourself out there, put yourself in clubs, talk to as many people as you can. A big advice that I have is to try to find someone to date outside of school. That's how I found my boyfriend. We've been together for 3 years, and I feel like something that's helped a lot is that we don't go to school together, which can kind of suck because I wish he did, but at the same time, it's also good because we have some time away from each other and we have like our own friend groups, and there's like no gossip within the school of like he said this and she said that, you know? It keeps things private, which is helpful. I met him by doing this music program thing, which if you're putting yourself in like programs like that, you already have something common that you guys both like, so that can be like a very easy conversation starter. My friends have found people at school by kind of joining different programs and talking to people that they don't have classes with, and that's helped because usually the people you have classes with are like the same group of people and you need to expand a little bit more. Next question, friendship advice. I think I already talked a little bit about this, but think of friendships like a plant that needs to be watered. You need to be putting effort into friendships and you need to be putting conscious effort. You can't just talk to a friend in one class and expect her to be your best friend. You need to be talking to her, you need to be inviting her to things, you need to be sharing things about you, listening to her. You can be strategic about how you put this effort so you can have time for other things. Calling when you're driving, calling when you're walking your dog, a study hangout, you know, so you guys can study together. Those are ways that you're hanging out with her while optimizing your time and still being able to focus in school. Another thing that I think I learned the hard way is that there are different friendships for different things. You can't become friends with one person and expect them to be able to help you study for that one class, to be able to go to parties, to be able to have gossip sesh, and also be there when you break up with your boyfriend. Like, these are so many different things in a person, and you can't be expecting so much from people. Sometimes a friend might be great for going out. She might be the best at knowing the best dinner places and the best parties, but she might not be there for you when you break up with your boyfriend or if you're going through a hard time. Because it's just a different vibe. That doesn't mean she's a bad friend. That doesn't mean that she doesn't care about you. That just means that she's a different friendship. She's not your best friend. She's your going out friend. And then you have another friend that's there for you when you need to cry, when you need to talk about things. And she might be not as extroverted. She might want to stay at home and watch movies more than going to parties. That's also okay. You have different friend groups for the different things that you like in your life, and having that expectation that one friend does not need to fit everything that you need helps you and also be easy on people. Next question is how to get stuff done not at 2 a.m. the night before it's due. And I kind of put this other question together, which is organization system for each class and study systems for each class. I put these two questions together because they kind of like answer each other. The way for you not to be doing stuff at 2 a.m. the night before it's due is for you to be organized and have like a whole system set up. So the way that I set up my system is that I have like a planner. Writing down when stuff is due is the best way for you to not be doing stuff at 2 a.m. But if you know when things are due, you know when you need to do the assignments beforehand and when you need to get them done to be able to finish them on time, so you don't end up doing them at 2 a.m. A tip is to think of a week as like a whole and plan like on Sunday or Monday before how you're gonna spend your days and what days you're gonna spend doing what. I use this a lot for studying, so I don't study like the night before and like, okay, if I have a test on Thursday, I need to study Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like, I can't just study on Wednesday, especially because I have like a broadcasting thing Wednesday. Push yourself to get the homework and the assignments done before they're due. You might come home and you might want to just watch Netflix, but you can't. You need to do your homework and you need to be pushing yourself. Even if you're like, oh, it's only due in 2 days, I can start it tomorrow. No, you need to start it today and then you can have the break. Something else that I learned the hard way is that if you're struggling to keep up for a specific week, if you have so many things that you need to do for your sport and for your club and you have a test which you're completely dreading because you cannot study for it, you have not found the time, ask for an extension. Teachers can be so understanding if you explain to them what's going on. You might get rejected. They might say, I'm sorry, I can't give you an extension. I gave you this project 3 weeks ago. You just chose to do it now. That might happen. But most of the time, if it's a test or like if it's a homework assignment, they will not care for it. They will say, okay, you can make this up. You can take it a day later if that's going to be helpful. Teachers are so nice, but you also have to be nice to them back. You know, you also have to be appreciative and not take advantage and not always be relying on extensions. It's like a once in a while thing that helps you breathe. Last question is how to deal with fake people and drama. This is hard because even if you think you're not going to deal with fake people, you still will. That's like a universal experience. You can't really like avoid that. So like, yes, you will meet some annoying people and drama will be caused, but if you just stay in your own and if you're nice to people and you're not like unnecessarily rude, you're gonna be okay. You know that you're not a bad person, and if people try spreading that, just don't give them the time of day and it'll die down. The more that people talk, if you respond back and you clap back and you start like fighting, like that's just gonna be bad for you. So just like don't mess with it and you're gonna be okay. You will find your right group of people that will not cause drama and won't be fake, and then you'll see that it was all worth it and that nobody really cares about the drama. Like everybody's just like trying to do their own thing. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It's been super fun to be able to answer all these questions that you guys were curious about and talk about these things as high school is just around the corner. My first day of school is literally this week, which I'm so dreading, but I'm glad we were able to talk about it and help you guys be more comfortable for starting the school year. If you guys like this video, I have more videos that you guys would be interested in. I'll put it here in the right hand corner, and I might do another advice session because I feel like we were only able to get through so much. Like there was so many more questions that I haven't answered, and I love talking talking about these things, like having a little bit of girl talk. So comment down below other questions that you guys want me to answer. I'll make a thread, and also follow my Instagram at Amelie Santini, and keep checking my community tab, because if I'm ever doing a video like this where I'm asking you guys stuff, it'll be in those places. So you guys can answer and your questions can be part of videos like these. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. I'll see you guys next time. Good luck starting high school. Bye!